Powell, so how many times?
75.
70, explain this to me. 75 times Robert Mueller did what?
The FBI, before and during Robert Mueller's tenure, submitted FISAs that materially omitted exculpatory or other information essential to the court.
Whoa, evidence they had?
Yes. I'll give you one example that the court cited that really smoked the court. They're really upset about this. They wanted a FISA. They didn't tell the court that the guy they were putting a FISA on was one of their own informants.
What would happen to me if I lied to a federal judge or lied in a warrant application?
You'd either be in contempt of court or probably in prison prosecuted for perjury.
And this is, you chronicled this, Sidney Powell, in your book, License to Lie, about Mueller's pit bull, Andrew Weissman.
Oh, yes, Sean. I mean, Mr. Weissman will make up crimes. He'll make up facts. He'll hide evidence. He will do whatever it takes to win.
All right, and Greg Jarrett, so if 75 times exculpatory evidence is withheld, well, explains why he'd hire a guy like with the track record of Weissman. But more importantly, we now know, because of John's reporting and your reporting as well, that Bruce Orr told everybody in the FBI, everybody, that the dossier was unverified, uncorroborated. It was paid for by Clinton and put together by a Russian hater with dubious Trump hater with dubious Russian lies.
And he told that to two people who are top prosecutors on Mueller's team. So, I mean, imagine that. And then, of course, all of that information was concealed from the FISA judges. They were lied to. They weren't told that Hillary Clinton had paid for it or that Steele had been fired for lying or was severely biased.
And Andrew Weissman was briefed on it. Explain that.
Yes. Andrew Weissman in the summer of 2016 was briefed by Bruce Orr, as well as another prosecutor, Zainab Ahmad, both of whom are top prosecutors on Mueller's team. So they have tainted the Mueller investigation. It has no credibility. And the real question here is, why hasn't Mueller, who is on notice about FISA abuses, investigated this FISA abuse? I'll tell you why. Because he'd have to have the permission of Rod Rosenstein, who, of course, was involved in the FISA abuse.
He signed the third renewal, the fourth FISA warrant against Carter Page. Let me go back to John Solomon.
Sure.
Now, you did a lot on the Uranium One story.
I did.
You first interviewed, we had an FBI informant.
Douglas Campbell.
That knew that, Mr. Campbell, that chronicled for then FBI Director Mueller, that there was bribery, extortion, kickbacks, and money laundering going on by Putin's thugs in America.
That's right.
They still got the Uranium One deal through.
They did.
Talk about money from Russia. The Clintons got kickbacks from those people to the tune of $145 billion in speaking fees. Yeah. And Mueller also, we now know through Orr testimony, Orr was the conduit for information from the fired Christopher Steele from the FBI, the liar, the leaker, trying in this investigation to pass information to the special counsel's office.
You know, there's something, two inexplicable cases. You describe it that way. Greg's book does such a great job. What's the one common link between those? Rod Rosenstein was the prosecutor in Uranium One. Rod Rosenstein's the guy running the FISA process. There are questions that Rod Rosenstein has never answered that have to be answered. And one of them that I want to put on the table, because we're learning something right now, I wonder if Rod Rosenstein used the dossier 9 months in to justify the appointment of Bob Mueller. If he did, it really raises questions about the credibility of the appointment document.
All right, I'll ask Sidney first, then Greg. Same question. We don't have a lot of time. If anyone else purposefully, knowingly committed a fraud on any court, withholding information, exculpatory, or telling the court that Hillary paid for something, what would happen, Sidney, to say if it was me?
Oh, you'd be under the jail, Sean, but you have to remember that Mueller is the insurance policy. Mueller is the insurance policy. He would have to be investigating himself here because he was head of the FBI when Hillary had her secret server. He was part of Uranium One, too. He would have been emailing her on that server. He had to have known everything that was going on.
75 times he got excoriated but not held accountable. Greg Jarrett, what would happen to somebody else?
Well,
we'll have about 15 seconds.
You would be charged with deprivation of rights, perjury, obstruction, conspiracy to defraud, and false statements. And probably several others that I haven't put in my book. And that's the team now
that is going to issue a report, so we hear in a month.
That's right.
Real quick, You heard
it's
something
a
about this
tainted
report, Mueller's report. Is it going to?
Listen, I think that the preponderance of evidence is going to show that the president didn't commit any crimes, and I think it's going to wrap up, and it'll be in the next month. That's what I'm hearing.
For their sake, if they want to open up these doors, it will be now a full-on investigation, hopefully with a new attorney general.
That's
All right, great blockbuster.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And you have one more tomorrow.
I'm working on one, yeah.
All right, when we come back, meet